Chapter 3. Jill. It'd be easy to say it started with Hector's suicide, but that's really not true. Really. He was only a piece of something inherent to here, and maybe everywhere. It's still happening. Right now. And so on. Pushing itself forward. Because suicide goes on forever. The wrists always bleeding out. The feet always leaving the bridge. The rope always catching short. It never stops. Kinsfield is built on graves, just like anywhere, but maybe more so. On footpaths, you'd find more arrowheads than you could fit in your pockets. So many no one even gave a shit about them anymore. The town was shrinking. Every month it felt like there were fewer stores, fewer restaurants, fewer homes, fewer people. Everything going to ruin like the old mills where our ancestors had worked, weaving fabrics and carving paper from pulp to wood. Everything dissolved into vacant lots, the emptiness expanding. The Ashuelot River pushed through a tear in the mountains, through the hydroelectric dam snaking down across the west end of town. The marshes gnawed slowly at the neighborhoods. Night fell like a lid slipping between the sky and the mountaintops, and you could go out in the choke of dark and feel Kinsfield breathe. It wasn't just the trucks rumbling off of Route 12A, or the oscillations humming off the street lamps and warehouses. Beneath it all, you could hear Kinsfield gasping in and out. I'm here. I woke up on the gross couch in Tyler's basement. He stood with his back to me, staring into the scrying mirror he's made from an old picture frame and a can of black spray paint. His cheeks twitched, his teeth gnawed on something. I sat up. The couch springs creaked beneath my weight. He turned. His face was blank. Someplace distant. Very slowly he grinned. About time. It's almost 4. Lou. As long as I can remember, there was that low hum of suicide ringing through my body. I'd close my eyes and have flashes of strange industrial machines punching holes in my skin. My form cracking on rocks beneath a jagged cliff. 1,000 blades reducing me to ribbons. Rearranging my body in ways not available to me in life. Pushing me across a threshold to be reborn as something novel. That was one reason I followed the forum, to see all the examples of brave individuals radically altering their state of being, knowing that there was no chance of ever coming back. Black background, red text, green text, gray text. Droplums 1343. Why is it all men? That's allowable 1354. What is, the forum or the suicides? Because the answer to both is, it's not. Droplums, 1358. I thought only dudes were offing themselves. Misty Payne, 1407. Last year, Sally Forrest slit her wrists under the Lily Williams Bridge. That summer, Ariana Glad drowned herself. There's a whole lot more. Yes, it is mostly boys, but not exclusively. Droplums, 1413. Were they hot? Peer respect. 1417. Ariana was a thought. Cancer wizard. 1420. Someone was telling me only the guys hang themselves. Anyone confirm? BBBs. 1425. Mostly, because hanging is mostly masculine. It's violent and demonstrates anger. One last fuck you. Young Caligula. 1429. It's more than that. The loop is everything that is happening, or was happening, or will happen. The loop meets itself, and either it ends or it starts again. Crazy Bob, 1438. Slow clap. Amir. We ate some sandwiches and hauled off our bikes toward Cold Brook Drive, up to Liberty toward Jill's place in the Shallows. She sat against a waist-high chain-link fence in the front of her yard, blue hair, black dress, and chubby legs stuffed into ripped fishnets. Messing around on her phone, her bike resting on its side. She looked up and gave a fake little half smile, her eyes puffy and red. Tyler dropped his feet down to the pavement and slid the bike to a halt. Jill pushed off from the fence, hugging and kissing him. I felt nauseous. Then her face scrunched, her eyes nearly sealing shut. "Did you hear about Hector?" she said. "No. What happened?" Tyler threw me a glance. I wasn't about to say anything. I treasured any small secret between us. "He died last night." "No shit." He was going for something like surprised or sympathetic, but it came off all wrong. He sounded unplugged. "Bummer," I said. Jill's face crumpled further. "Sorry, babe." She held her arms out around her chest. "I have to go pee," she said. "Jill." I sat on the toilet with the palms over my chest, trying to breathe. Took another Ativan. Texted Kennedy to see if she wanted to come with us. "Kennedy. Sorry, boo. When I move, I puke." So I washed up, smeared on some more concealer and eyeshadow, and exhaled through my mouth, and inhaled through my nose again, and again, until it was all out of me. I practiced my smile in the mirror. I made myself smile until I believed it, and went back outside to the swollen, pollen-clogged air, a smile on my face. "Hey." Tyler smiled back. "Hey." I got close to him again. "So where's this thing you wanted to show me?" "Amir." Tyler wanted to make us internet famous, so we started a video channel and went to a bunch of places trying to film ghosts. Mostly we just ended up drinking and getting high. He'd always say, "If we play this right, we'll be set for life," like in a movie. Sometimes his pitch would just be so powerful I'd almost believe him. We'd shot our first segment about the Micah Witch. I tried telling the story about when we were little, but he shut off the camera and said it never happened. "You guys haven't been through the abandonments, right?" Tyler said. Jill shook her head. Neither had I, but everyone knew about the place, and I knew Tyler had been aching to check it out. "Then let's go." He peeled off on his bike and we followed. "Jill." Dad always told me to stay away from there, that it was filled with junkies and bears. Ashley used to say it was haunted, or that it was a gateway to hell, but I don't even think she believed that. Sometimes I'd dream about the abandonments even though I'd never been there. Lou. Black background, red text, green text, gray text. Piss Respect. 0101. Song that makes you want to kill yourself after you hear it. Listen if you dare. For real though, it's pretty cool if you're into that sort of thing. Heard it for the first time about a week ago and I'm still here, so I bet you'll be fine too. Dead Kid, 1532. Yeah, this EDM guy did a dope version of it. You can hear it here. Pygate, 1553. Catching the obits, boys. Amir. We pedaled down over the Lily Williams Bridge where Ted Pulaski and Marge Kramer hanged themselves the spring before. Turkey vultures circled above, setting down their big, ugly bodies on thick maple branches. Stupid Rick had told me that even when Connor Thompson shot himself, his corpse was so rank the smell drove the vultures crazy, and 40 or 50 swarmed his house, breaking their necks and wings on the windows and door frames trying to get inside. Tyler signaled left and we chased him uphill, the river to our right. The sun ebbed down over the mountains and it began to feel like anything could happen. Lou. Black background, red text, green text, gray text. Nude Hamster. 1907. Just smoked Whirl for the first time. Saw my dad and my dog. Both died last year. They were folded up on the bed like a pile of clothes, or draped on a door like a towel. Worst thing that's ever happened to me. Anyone that's got tips for dealing with this shitty come down? BBBs, 1920. Smoke a lot of weed, preferably with a friend. Watch a movie too. Nothing intense or deep. Just something fun and light and stupid. Then smoke some more weed. Godspeed, young buck. A real bad time, 1921. Or just kill yourself, lol. Amir. Tyler skidded to a halt. We were about an hour away from town. We coasted past overgrown bushes into a deep rolling graveyard. Rows of chipped pale angels, half ovals and crosses standing like sentries. He pointed beyond the cemetery to a steep hill. At the top, a pair of headlights sighted out through the twilight. "It's up there." Tyler had found a way to sneak in online. He said we'd have to approach from the bottom of the hill, crawl through the bush, lay low, wait for the security cruiser's headlights to pass. This gave us about 20 minutes to get over the hill and to the fence, and if we followed the fence to our right, we'd find an opening. Tyler handed Jill his flask. She swigged and handed it to me. It wasn't the decent stuff from the night before, this time sour and cheap. Tyler took out a silver plastic packet, Worrell printed across the side, and pinched out a clump of dry purple-gray leaves, stuffing them behind his lip and between his molars, gnawing them gently. He snatched a flask back from me and swigged again. When the sun was all the way gone, we hit our bikes and we each took another drink of the whiskey. We jogged through the cemetery to the hill and started climbing. Pricker bushes tore at our arms, legs, and cheeks. Tyler lifted his hand and we stopped. You hear that? Rumbling exhaust. A dim glow over the top of the hill. The pair of headlights cleaved above us. We dropped to the sharp, moist ground. The car stopped and idled. I whispered that we should leave. Tyler hushed me and said to wait. Minute after minute rotted by. But then there was a sound of gravel shifting beneath tires, and the headlights gradually swerved away from over us and disappeared. Now, Tyler said. We got up, running toward the top of the lip of the hill, clearing into the dirt road. We kept running until we hit chain link. We followed the fence to the right, feeling along the links until Tyler stopped us. I think this is it. He pulled back the chain link, pulled one leg through and then the other, then ducked on through. Come on. Jill followed, then me. We heard exhaust rumble again and ran into the darkness. Jill. Broken, weed-riddled asphalt twisted ahead like a dark serpent, leading through wrecked-up neighborhood, burnt-down trailers and rain-rotted houses, with the young trees growing around and through them. Rusted husks of old cars half submerged in soft earth, ruin and woods. We drank and smoked, listening. You feel that? Tyler said. Feel what? But I knew what he was talking about. This electric sensation in my belly, lassoed up from the earth. Like something buried, right? He smiled, and it was such a weird smile that I looked away. Like a cusp. What? Amir said. Shh, let's keep going. We started walking again, listening to owl calls and coy dog voices. This place is so goddamn vibey. Tyler tapped record on his phone and turned it towards himself and said, Welcome to hell. Lou. According to Blake Wilson's foreword to the Entropic Pantheon, of what limited details exist pertaining to Baumhauer, few have been verified. To those who knew him personally, he was not a philosopher, but instead a physician, and an unremarkable one at that. His spiritual beliefs were largely kept private, and correspondence between he and his editor suggests an unfulfilled desire on his part to have his work published pseudonymously. Furthermore, posthumous, and to be sure, factually baseless speculation paired with the admittedly strange nature of his death do nothing but muddy a nuanced perception of a complicated man. So instead we are left only his work by which to know him. The book you hold in your hand is a testament to the power of discipline and imagination. A guidebook for the will. Through it, brave men can possess a life of endless openness and endless discovery. Nothing will die and nothing will end. Amir. Tyler stared into the camera, talking about a man who'd been obsessed with measuring the human soul. He called himself a modern saint of suicide. Jill turned from the camera, rubbing at her eyes with her fingertips. Jill. Sometimes it seems like I was the only person who felt anything when someone died. Everyone else made a joke out of it. So it had to have been me that was wrong. Tyler had Amir hold the phone and film him. He pointed to the top of the street. It was a smear of a blue-gray in the moonlight. That's his house, he said to the camera, not to us. Lou. Black background, red text, green text, gray text. Creaky Gate has a posse. 1101. Why do certain places attract suicide, like Golden Gate Bridge or Beachy Head? Curse? That's allowable. 1146. Practical reasons, probably. Those places are so high up, the drops are almost guaranteed to kill you. Numb Days 3, 1201. Yeah, then what about a whole town? That's allowable. 1207. I'm not claiming to have any answers. I'm here for the same reasons you are. Amir. The house was like a twisted up napkin or a filthy KKK hood. A roundhouse with walls corkscrewing up to a pointed steeple. The woods were darker in its space, like a place that wanted to kill you. Tyler smiled wide. He reached up into the silver pocket and stuffed more leaves behind his lip. Yeah, okay. You still recording? I pressed the red circle on the screen and held it up at arm's length. Jill stayed behind me, out of frame. Okay, we've just made it from the outside. He pointed toward the roof damage and I tilted the phone to capture it. You can see it's pretty messed up. Doesn't look very stable. I think we're gonna still check it out. Tyler led us around the building until we found its entrance. My stomach twisted. Alright. Tyler grinned into the camera. Here we go. Jill. My skin itched like insects underneath. Tiny slithering amoebas in my blood. My head throbbed. It felt like I was going to puke if I went in there, but I followed him in a mirror, just the same. Just as I stepped through the front door, everything, the itching, the headache, fell away. Lou. Black background, red text, green text, gray text. Creaky gate has a posse. 02:59. How long before the strings go away? It's been a few days now and they're fucking me up. Busted literature. 03:33. I always thought it was hair. That's allowable. 03:38. For me it was a week, give or take, but I guess it's different for everyone. Shouldn't be more than a month though. Amir. The door opened too easily into a rotted hallway. Slimy puddles underfoot. 2 black doorways and a staircase curling up along a round, windowless wall. We wandered the floor, checking each room. A kitchen with all its appliances and drawers torn out. A den with nothing but ripped tires stacked on a soggy, mold-black carpeting. And a dining room with an upright piano bashed apart and knocked on its side. Piles of old cigarette butts and beer bottles. Moths and dust particles clouding the light. The upstairs was more the same. 2 rooms littered with old soiled sleeping bags and dented oil drums and more empties. A 3rd room, maybe a study in a past life, jammed up with rusted file cabinets and collapsed bookshelves. Tyler told me to shine the light at the ceiling. There. A length of choke chain hung from a wooden square. Tyler stretched it and grasped it, pulling open a trapdoor. A ladder slipped down. Tyler grinned at me, at the camera, and began climbing. Wait a sec, I said, but he was already at the top, through the door. He poked his face and arm back through, waving at us. Come on, it's cool. I climbed the ladder and pulled myself up into the attic. It was so much colder than the rest of the house, like deep fall. I flashed the light around. A single round room rising into a point. Old planks strewn across the floor and piled along the edge of the wall. A small diseased tree rising from an iron planter's pot in the dead center. This is it, Tyler said in the camera, pointing at the tree. Jill wrapped her arms tight around her body. Why is that there? To mark it, probably. Mark what? But he didn't answer. Amir, come here. He stepped toward the tree and fell onto his knees. He craned his neck back and toward the camera. Let's see what we can't pull out of this place, he said. Jill. Tyler bowed his head. He mumbled a few words I couldn't make out and began humming. He balled his right hand into a fist, his thumb sticking out, and raised it to his face, drawing his thumbnail down from his cheek to his neck. With his other hand, he removed a black and orange box cutter from his pocket. He stretched the cutter out toward the tree and drew an oval in the air. He hummed louder, bobbing his head, shuddering the sound. He stretched his right hand toward the tree and slit the back of his forearm with the blade. Lines of dark red rode down his skin like strands of thread. My heart coiled and I began to shake. He returned the box cutter to his pocket and clutched around his wound, squeezing blood out into the bark. He went silent, placing his palms together like in prayer. Werner Baumhauer, we are not afraid. If you are still here, will you give us a sign? The wind outside ripped through branches, a rolling white noise. He spoke again. Werner Baumhauer, we are not afraid. If you are still here, will you give us a sign? The walls and roof buckled and braced under gusts. Werner Baumhauer, we are not afraid. If you are still here, will you give us a sign? He stretched out his arm and squeezed more blood onto the bark. A voice reached out from the dark. Hello. Lou. Black background, red text, green text, gray text. Just taint, 1612. You guys know about cordyceps fungus? Takes control of ant brains and kills them and makes them do whatever weird little biting. Is it possible they could have adapted to humans? That's what's happening? CMVISU 1620. You are aware there's an award-winning video game about this very thing, right? And you're wrong. Cordyceps doesn't control ant brains, it controls their bodies, which is a huge difference. Numb Days 3, 1631. Are you like a doctor? Amir. I fell down the ladder, fell down the stairs, banged my shoulders and hips on every door frame, running the fuck out of there. I ran out of the entrance and through the woods until the spins caught hold, and I buckled over. Puking on my shoes, I heaved hot air. Breath after breath, I gradually realized I was alone. Tyler, I said. Just shadow and trees and tires and oil drums and wrecked ski jets, but something rustling. Tyler, I whispered. It's me. Jill's shaky voice. She stepped through the blue tent. Where's Tyler? I don't know. She was broken up. Jesus, I left him there. What the fuck was that? We have to go back. She exhaled deep and snorted up wads of mucus. We have to go back. She turned and started jogging back toward the house. Jill. Tyler stood beside the house, smoking a cigarette, with a man in gray paint-splattered coveralls. He turned and smiled. There they are. Hey Tom, this is my girl Jill and my boy Amir. Guys, this is Tom. Tom lives here. Tom was maybe in his late 30s. Filthy, sunken face. He twitched and shivered in the warm air. You aren't going to rob me, are you? He said. Tyler sucked on his butt. Chill, man. He took out his bowl and started packing it. You want to smoke? Really? Tom's eyes lit up. We should go. I was so done with that place. Tyler shook his head. Tom's cool. Don't worry about it. Smoke this. He passed me the bowl. I lit it, sucked in a small hit, and I passed it to Amir. He did the same and passed it to Tyler. Tyler handed it to Tom. Tom inhaled big and erupted in a fit of wet, phlegmy coughs. He passed the bowl back to Tyler and wiped his mouth with his sleeve. You guys are like the nicest people I've ever met. Lou. Black background, red text, green text, gray text. Possum Janae, 2223. Smoked whirl and a whole bunch of books fell off the shelf. My monitor cracked just by itself. The strings? And now my dog's real sick. I don't know what I'm going to do now. Busted literature, 2224. I don't think I'm going to smoke whirl anymore. Droplums, 2240. Whirl's a poltergeist drug. BBBs, 2244. What do you mean? Droplums, 2251. I don't know. Sad face. Amir. After another bowl and a couple of cigarettes, we finally dragged Tyler away from his new junkie friend and booked it out of there. We snuck out the way that we came in. Didn't see the patrol car all this time. Dug our bikes out from the bushes and set off towards home. I'll always have nightmares about that curling roadway at night, the occasional car or truck whipping around the bends. You always heard them before you saw them, and each time they drove by, a vision of its bumper tossing me from the road flashed behind my eyes. Another rumbled up behind us, headlights on our backs, stretching our shadows far out ahead of us. An old blue pickup truck whooshed past, pulling off into the breakdown lane and slowing to a halt. The driver's side door opened and a figure stepped out. Jill. It was Dad. He shut off the engine and turned back to us. Come here. We all started forward. Not you, just her. Dad drove trucks until he died, but he's always wanted to become a teacher. He went to the library whenever he wasn't on the road, taking out old books to bring with him on deliveries. He loved local history, particularly pre-colonization history and tribal folklore. I think he read those because he hated being away from home for so long. Sometimes he'd see Tyler at the library, and that'd be enough to win Dad's approval, if only somewhat. Teach a boy to love books, and he's set for life, he'd say. He'd only ever said that for my benefit, but it meant a lot to me. He took me by the arm and pulled me to the front of his truck. What are you doing up here? Don't lie, what are you doing up here? Just riding around. He pulled me closer, beer hanging off his breath. Bullshit. You were screwing around the old houses, weren't you? Dad, don't. He released my arm, closed his eyes, and pinched the bridge of his nose. Look, I don't want you going in there. It's dangerous. There's bums and junkies and who knows what else, and he looked behind me, toward Tyler and Amir, and who knows what else is in there. I started crying, feeling weak and stupid. Dad came in, hugged me. I'm not mad. I just want you to promise not to go in there again. I wiped the snot and tears off my face with my shirt collar and looked him in the eye. Blue. Black background. Red text, green text, gray text. Young Caligula, 2309. That face when you smoke a whirl and meet your future ghost and he tells you not to do something you're about to do. BBBs, 2320. That face when you smoke a whirl and meet your future ghost and he tells you to do something you hadn't thought of yet. Dead Mechanic, 2322. Poltergeists. Young Caligula, 2327. Poltergeist drug isn't accurate, more like scrying drug. Possum Jenny, 2333. What about the broken monitor and bookshelf? Crazy Bob, 2347. The dead are just pissed. Amir. Jill's dad seemed like kind of an asshole. This road's dangerous during the day, he said, looking at us. If I catch any of you up here again, I'm calling your folks. He had us pile into the cab of his truck, cramped, with Jill in the middle, next to him, me on the end with Tyler on my lap. Jesus, he muttered. Better not be getting pulled over tonight. Every few moments he tugged and twisted the sides of his black-gray mustache. Tyler's skinny, bony ass was sharp against my crotch and thighs. He squirmed, grinding his bones against mine. Sit still, dude, I whispered. What? Jill's dad bark? Nothing. Tyler rooted around in his pockets. Come on, dude. I cocked my head around his shoulder and watched him pull out that small silver packet. He pinched up a gray-purple wad and stuffed it in his mouth. Tyler? Jill's dad glanced towards us. Tyler, what the hell is that? Tyler quickly pocketed the packet. What, sir? I'd never heard him call anyone sir before. Is that dip? Yes, sir. You're a little young for that, aren't you? Yes, sir. The muscles in Tyler's right arm spasmed gently against my own. Jill's dad leaned into her ear. Honey, I don't want you doing stuff like that. A black shape fell from above, cracking against a windshield. The glass split into a web. The shape thumped off the hood of the car. Jill's dad swerved to the side of the road. He got out and looked over the ground, then back at the hood of the windshield. Tyler slapped his hand over his mouth, giggling. Jill's dad got back in the truck and started it up again. I'd better not fucking get pulled over. We roared over the bridge up through the shallows into downtown before dropping me and Tyler off at Tyler's place. We went inside and ate pills he'd stolen from his mom until we fell asleep. Lou. It's a round, gray room. Its walls pulse gently. The center is a gaping hole filled with black fluid. The hole speaks to me. I can't make out the words, so I step closer. Slowly, I hear them clearly. I turn to run and begin to fall. If I hadn't woken up, I would have fallen forever.